Good morning. Welcome to an adventure. Welcome to another adventure. So today we are taking the ice house out to where I like to ice fish. I haven't been out on the water at all this season. I've heard that the ice is good enough to get out there. So today we're gonna go check it out for ourselves. I'm not gonna do any fishing on this trip. I'm just gonna run out to the pond. I'm gonna pop a couple holes, make sure it's deep enough, and then I'll show you guys how I pick a spot and how I would look at things using live scope and just kind of contour maps and general information that everybody could use. Live scope's an awesome tool. I'm not sponsored by Garmin or anybody else that you see in my videos yet. If Garmin's out there and wants to send me some stuff, I'm all for it. So the good news is, just got out here and there is a whole lot more ice shacks and vehicles that are way bigger than mine. So I don't feel so bad about getting ready to drive out here. So we're just gonna take it slow. Drive right out onto the ice. Okay, kind of getting the lay of the land here. Looks like we got a nice plowed path going this way. You longtime viewers know that shack right out in the distance there, that's kind of where I like to set up. So we're just gonna cruise out there a little ways, try to find a spot close but not too close. Now that we're parked, I'm gonna drill a couple holes and show you how I'm gonna use my live scope to see if it's a good spot or I want to check out. Got our hole popped. Drop the live scope in. Well, so if you can see in our map here, this is definitely a place I've fished before. Look at all those tracks. Okay, so as you can see on the screen here, looks like I've got some fish. "30 feet off of this point." So I'm going to walk out 30 feet, drill a hole, drop in and see what it looks like. And they're kind of swimming this way. All right, I got my hole drilled about 30 feet or so from my first one. Let's drop the live scope in and see what it looks like. Okay, so I pulled up my map here. So here's where I am. Here's where I was last year. According to the contour map, I'm in about 18 feet of water, and it's kind of leveled out here. You can see where the lines get a little thicker. That's where some drops are. Now if I go back to my live scope view, you can actually see a drop right here, but it looks like we've got some fish right underneath us. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the ice house, I'm gonna drive up right about to where this spot is, I'm gonna set it down, and we should be good to fish. Then we'll go ahead and get everything on the ice house squared away and set up. Now the law is you can't be within 50 feet of another ice shack. This guy is close, but I don't think he'll be 50 feet. 50 feet's quite a ways, so I might kind of veer off this way just to give myself a little bit of extra room. Keep the live scope running so I can see if anything happens. Let's go ahead and get her moved. We got the shack up. We can get to work cleaning up this mess. Getting our wood stove put in place. Get the chimney piping all taken care of. set it up to be our little home away from home. We got the wood stove coming up nice. It's always fun trying to remember how this jigsaw puzzle goes back together. Now I'm gonna head outside and hop on the ladder and get the upper part of the chimney hooked up. Let's start a little fire and just check things out while we do a little more cleaning. I was moving some of these blocks and look at all these Asian beetles that were hiding under there. Oh man. now that we got everything cleaned up, everything set up, kind of the way it would be if I was ice fishing, let's give you guys a little tour. You guys were here last year, you know, kind of same setup. You come in the door here, we got my thermometer and humidity meter right here. So I started that wood stove, I don't know, 20-30 minutes ago or so, and it's already up to 55 degrees, which isn't bad for it being like 20 out here. Got a shelf light. It's a 12-volt light, so I can hook a battery up. I usually put a battery under, I usually sit here, put a battery under my chair, and then I got my live scope pole. I put a ram mount this year right here, so I can sit from my chair, and instead of having the little legs to hold it up, I wanted a ram mount. So now I can just sit here and rotate it. I usually put the live scope up on that little table over there, and that way I can just sit here and relax with the wood stove. And then I usually fish out of this hole, and then I'll set another one up over on that hole. There's my chair if somebody's gonna come join me. You guys saw Alex a lot last year. He'll come fish with me. My brothers come fish with me. I've got 2 rattle reels up on the wall, and these I'll just put a nice spry minnow on and drop them down. I got this hole set up, and then this hole's set up with a rattle reel. So I'll put them up there. I got some rod storage here. Just kind of some ones that I like to have handy. These dead sticks work real nice. You know, I can jig with them. Just some other rods. So rod storage, nice, quick and dirty. That's my motto. This ice house has a bunk up here. I don't typically use it because I haven't spent a night out on the ice in a long time, and I don't. So I might, if you guys want to see some ice camping, I'm more than willing to do it. Just leave me a like, comment, or you know, we'll go through it again. So this is the second chair. So this guy can usually fish 2 holes. I keep a propane heater in here just because if somebody ever wants to borrow my ice house without me, some people get nervous about starting the wood stove, and it's, you know, it's got its own little quirks if you're gonna use the wood stove. I like it, but so I keep that in here just as a emergency backup, you know, because sometimes it gets stupid cold out here, and if the wood stove starts giving me problems, I can fire up the propane and, you know, keep it survivable out here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I got, you know, 4 fishable holes. I got my live scope mount set up around there. One project I want to do is I'm gonna add a damper door to the wood stove down here, so that way it can draft a little better, because that's my one problem with this. I put this fan up here, and man, that makes a huge difference with circulating air. You know, it kind of helps blow the heat off of the chimney pipe there, and it makes it really nice in here. But we're gonna wrap it up. There's not much left out here to do, so I'm gonna let the wood stove burn down and just make sure everything's ready to go for this year's ice fishing season. So we'll probably be out here next weekend and start doing some fishing. I think my wife's gonna come with, and we're gonna check it out. So now that we got everything set up and clean and ready to go, she'll be more than happy to come join me ice fishing. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Upcoming projects in the ice shack that we're gonna do is the biggest thing with an ice shack is keeping the air circulating. You know, because it gets to where it's 100 degrees up top and 40 on the floor. So what I'm gonna do is, since I've got 12 volt already here on the wall for these lights, got another one over here. So what I'm gonna do, and I don't use it because of the whole bunk situation. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this cable, and I think I'm gonna mount it, run it over this way, and I'm gonna mount a 12-volt truck fan up here, just to try to keep more air pushing down. And I also got some computer fans that I think I might mount maybe up here, up by the windows, just to try to keep more air flowing down. So wiring up fans is going to be a project. I think I'm also going to maybe wire up a couple outlets for like charging your phone or charging a Bluetooth speaker, stuff like that, because I like listening to music when I'm out here fishing. But that's really pretty much it. It's a real simple setup, but it's a real fun way to beat the winter blues, I guess you could say, you know, because I can come out here, it's nice and warm, you know, you're fishing, hanging out. It's a good time. I really enjoy it. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys out here next week. There we go. Got our ice shack up, ready for a season.